Long on like the cast of South Park or something.
So you know what I felt like? That I should be like in an Urban Outfitters ad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The loose hat and this loose or
like the Smurf hat?
Yeah.
That's like a Smurf hat?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel.
That's how you feeling today?
Yeah, thank you. I think we're vibing. You know, you got this Adidas, you got Yeezys on. I'm like, oh, in the black, you looking slim.
Slim thick. Thank you.
I
Thank
like
you.
it.
That's because I'm about to be on this beach.
Ooh.
2 beaches in like back to back. And when I tell y'all, I cannot wait.
This sounds exciting.
Winter tan. I'm all about winter tan.
Me too. Yo, because first of all, I'm dark skinned. However, in the winter, I feel pale.
You don't like your freckles to show. Embrace them.
I do usually.
Because I can see them.
I do usually, but I feel pale. Like anytime I've ever gotten a facial, it's like, oh, you have dry skin. But in the summertime with the vitamin D, and I just feel like my skin isn't dry. But winter reminds me, like, homegirl, you need a tan or something.
Yeah.
You looking pale. So I'm excited for your winter tail.
My winter tan.
Exactly. I got a little cold and I haven't caught a cold.
Sophia, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. You got to grow up. You need to be taking better care of yourself. In college, let me tell y'all this about this kid in college.
And this is going to be a lie because watch me debunk it. Go.
Debunk. That's it. We're going to have y'all like...
By summer, watch how many shirts.
We're going to have a contest. What do each one of the real therapists always say? And debunk is one of Sophia's classic words for the past 20 years. But in college, Sophia would sit behind me in class or next to me because we sat along the side of the class. Why did we sit along the side of the wall?
I'm not sure because she wouldn't let you cheat off of her. So, but go.
And with her tissue, nose always running. I'm like, yo, fix that. What is wrong with you?
So first of all,
I get allergies.
Exactly. I didn't know I had allergies. So for so many years, I used to say to my doctor, because I always kept up with my health, like, do I have, a poor immune system? And to find out probably 5 years ago, they said, you don't have head colds. You have allergies. And I was like, I wanted to call one main friend because she would be like, you and your snotty tissues all the time. Like, bitch, first of all, I didn't have a runny nose. It was sinus stuff. So I was treating the wrong thing. Always had Theraflu and should have been taking a Zyrtec D. But now I know. Now, today is the first time that I have a cold in a very long time. You can't say, well, you'll see me with tissues, but most of the times I have been treating the allergies so I don't get sick in years.
Wow. So
catching a cold, I'm like, so guys, I sound like a whole 8th grade little boy. So, just bear with me today.
All right. So we are happy to be here with you guys today. This is my favorite season. I'm so excited. I'm getting really, really amped.
Yeah, she was on time and then met
holidays.
Me at the car. Was like, keep your door open. Keep your door open. I'm like, first of all, I started to get excited like, oh, a gift. But I'm like, I bet you this is more of a gift for her than it is a gift for me. So when she just said that, what did you make? Talk about your favorite season.
Oh, so yeah. So we are about spreading the love. And
right?
So our friend Cynthia B,
yes,
follow Cynthia B Life. She gives these awesome ass YouTube videos on how to make things. She coins herself the Queen of Quick.
Yes.
And so because my self-care is waking up at 5 a.m., getting my coffee, I'll watch a couple of Cynthia's videos, and I'll make stuff.
Yes.
So I made Sophia a thing for her door.
Yes.
Says truly blessed, truly thankful.
Yes.
Has a little flowers on it.
I
and
swear,
stuff like that.
it looks like something I would have paid $15 for at Big Lots. Like, it looks so.
I can't be at Home Goods.
Well, it could have been. No, so I'm saying Big Lots because Big Lots is literally right around the corner from me.
Big Lots is the shit, though.
No, for real. My aunt used to love Big Lots.
I love Big Lots.
So now that I'm close to one, I'll go and get all holiday stuff because they always have their nice seasonal section lined up.
They have a really good seasonal section.
And
really,
their prices
really
are better than Home Goods, even though I could find things that look very similar to Home
Absolutely.
Goods.
So, but here's the thing that Cynthia said that made me like made a light bulb go off for me. She said it's November 1st. She starts decorating November 1st.
Yes.
Now, my house ain't that big. I don't got a lot of decorating to do, but she said that she starts so that she can enjoy decorating.
Yes.
And I was like, yo, considering the fact that Thanksgiving is the 28th, it's going to be December the next day, basically. And so I'm going to start my holiday decorating now.
Oh, good for you.
I'm going to start putting stuff together so that as soon as Thanksgiving is over, ding dong, we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah. So, no, I'm still probably going to get a tree December 14th, December 15th. I am. Somebody asked me yesterday, like, why do you wait so long? First of all, a live tree is not designed to be indoors. So for it to thrive and be comfortable, it's not supposed to be up fucking Thanksgiving to New Year's. And I like mine to go into the new year with me.
I get you.
And then the tree don't get picked up until like the 7th. So,
yeah.
You know, when I get it early, I start getting anxious. And even though it's a good Fraser fir and whatever, it starts dying.
So I usually wait till about December 11th, but like getting my lights outside, putting lights up in the cold is a bitch.
Yeah, it is.
And so getting my lights up outside, having I transition my living room decor and pillows and stuff like that. So, you know, that's tip from our friend Cynthia B.
Yes.
Sophia is bringing the topic today.
I am.
What we got, Soph?
I am. So the funny thing is, you guys heard me reference, so sometimes when we are on group trips, I kind of have a question, some kind of question. And one of the questions that I've been asking my friends, and then I started asking clients over the years, is based on your emotional IQ, what grade would you be in? And it's so funny because my genius friends who just feel good about themselves, I'm in the 12th grade easily. I'd be like, well, 12th grade going into college? And they like, yeah. And then they'll say, well, what's emotional IQ? And then when I break it down, when I tell you, I'm not calling no names today.
Okay.
I got one friend who's come all the way down to 2nd grade.
What would 2nd grade emotional IQ look like, though? Na boo boo.
Pretty much, right? So I'm going to go over some things that discuss it, but before, just with your knowledge of emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, emotional IQ, however you want to coin it, what grade? When you just think about grade, thinking about the age and thinking about, because remember, one thing about school, and you know, we could go to Clinton's era of Leave No Child Behind, or we could talk about Obama's Every Child Succeeds. So each grade is supposed to be based off a level of mastery before you go to the next grade. So with what you know about emotional maturity, what grade would you deem yourself?
What's the highest grade?
Collegiate level. Ma'am, you got a PhD. Post. Doctorate level, all grading levels.
So,
because
can I tell you what my thing is, and then you tell me what grade I would fit in?
Yeah, well,
because I don't know the grading system.
Just think about grades, period. Not necessarily like, kindergarten. Just think about kindergarten is 5, and I just want you to go offhand, and then I'm going to go through these, and then you can say, maybe not that grade. Just go off the top of your head.
I say 11th.
Shit. High school, 11th.
Maybe not 11th. I was crazy in 11th grade. No, I think
stick with what you feel.
So here's my thing.
You know we always got to talk before we answer.
Because I got to talk myself through it. I'm sorry. So the thing about it is that I am aware.
Okay.
I feel like I'm extremely aware. But what happens 50-50. 50% of the time I'm aware and I make a conscious sound decision. And then the other 50% of the time I'm like, I'm aware, but guess what? I don't give a shit. I'm going to continue to do and act crazy. So that's usually what happens. So think
about that. Even with you are a clinician, but you see children at times, adolescents, and adults. So just off of what you said, what age would that be? What grade would that kid be in?
I think that's a high schooler.
Okay. Specifically.
11th or 12th grade.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let's look at it. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to identify and manage one's own emotions as well as the emotions of others. Okay. Hold on. Emotional intelligence is generally said to include at least 3 skills: emotional awareness, or the ability to identify and name one's own emotions, the ability to harness other emotions and apply them to tasks like thinking and problem solving, and the ability to manage emotions, which may include both regulating your emotion when necessary and helping others to do the same. So the trick about the emotional intelligence, the reason why this topic came to me, because I think I get a little annoyed when people say, social media really says it, I'm too grown for this. I'm 40 years old and blah, 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 blah. And what's one of my favorite lines when people tell me age, Shug?
I don't know.
I always say, like, your chronological age has nothing to do with your maturity.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. You could be 40 and your inner child still shows up and is ruining or running. Let me don't even say ruining, because you may not feel like it's ruining, but running your life.
Absolutely.
But it's like, I'm 40, I'm too grown for this, I don't play this and I don't play that. But emotional intelligence has nothing to do with that. So when I ask people, what grade are you in, they usually go higher up because they think about the emotional awareness. Like, oh, I know what I feel. Okay, but how do you manage your feelings? How are you regulating? Are you the person, as soon as somebody says something that you don't like, oh, I'm blocking you midway your text, or, you dating somebody and they do something you don't like, you automatically, oh, I'm not fucking with him no more, or her. That is not the emotional maturity. So yes, are you aware of it where you can identify, I'm angry, I'm happy, I'm excited, but how are you regulating your emotions? That plays a big part that people forget. So I'll give an example. When I was saying to my friends and they were saying 12, and I started giving examples like, well, yesterday we had to talk you off the ledge because you were being disrespectful, because you felt disrespected and this whole battle. And it's like, you couldn't regulate your emotions. Your emotions started to control you.
So this is the difficulty I'm having, because so the things running through my mind. Is the expectation that you can always do this?
Of course not. We don't even use the word always and never.
Because and so what are the categories for you?
Go ahead. Oh,
where where you lose more control.
Oh, loved ones. It's harder for me to regulate my emotions. People who are just closer to me. My husband and my mother are the 2 people who could get me to show my ass more than a coworker, even friends. They are the 2 who would be like, I am in the 4th grade. So
for me, actually, even though there are some people who can rile me up, when I'm talking like show my ass, strangers.
Really? Well,
disrespectful.
Yes.
Strangers.
Just a couple of months ago, you took your kid with you to Chipotle and put this whole fucking scene on at 7:59 right before they closed. Okay, I'm sorry.
It was 9:00.
And made them open the door for you.
No. I raced the girl to the door because she saw me coming and she was about to lock me out.
Okay.
Because they knew I was coming. I was like, I'm on my way. She saw me coming. She saw me jump out my car and she raced. She started running to the door. So I started running, snatched that door open. I sure did. And so I laugh every time I tell this story. Because it was so ridiculous. But I was so mad. Like, I was so upset. And so that's why I say 50-50.
How often does that happen?
That's the thing. To that extreme, Maybe once or twice a year.
Okay, I disagree, right? Because that was an example with Chipotle. 2 months prior to that, it was the postal person. You get into it with the postal people at least 3 times a year, and then we add Chipotle to it, and it's always maybe one more, maybe a Target or
I know I never. It's usually Chick-fil-A.
Okay. So Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, 3
and the post office.
3 with them. So the piece that I'm bringing up about this emotional maturity and this emotional intelligence is really to get people to look at oneself, because when we reflect, what you always hear us talk about is introspection, it is skewed when you're doing it to self. So here you just heard Dr. L say this happens 1 to 2 times. Here's someone who has known her for 19 years, and I'm saying this happens about 5 to 7 times a year. So even when she is trying to assess where she is, it's gonna be skewed. So
that was extreme, though.
Okay.
That was so the post office was last year, and it wasn't.
And then one time it was at the airport. Like, it happens.
Girl, that was years ago.
Okay,
that was a bad one too.
I'm just saying.
That's why. So I was thinking about that when you asked me how many times I was thinking about the airport time. It's so my category is poor service.
Okay.
Like that's my category.
So, but that's the part that the emotional intelligence should be playing a part of, right? That you can identify your trigger, right?
Yes.
So I'm clear that I'm saying my mother and my husband can be my triggers. So with that awareness, I should be learning new skills or trying to put things in place so that I still don't have that breakdown or that disruption, opposed to saying, well, you know that's my triggers. How many times do we hear people act poorly or make a poor decision, and they'll say, well, he knows that I don't like that, she knows that, and it's like, okay, it's about ownership. It's about a key principle that when we talk about journey to wholeness is accountability.
It is
and not being able to say, because my husband could trigger me, that gives me permission to act the fool.
Right. But so what do you do? Because Sophia's going to dish some therapy today, guys. This is real live and in the making, right?
Yep.
And so what happens when you have that ability to identify, you tell yourself, hey, that was so out of line, because we can use the post office situation. I was so upset in the post office, and because they didn't care. They didn't care that they did not take care of important documents.
They don't.
But my mind was able to say, all right, LaShawana, you're in a post office. If you go off too bad on this lady, this is something that could end up on the news, and you have too much to risk. So I was able to pull myself back and just be like, whatever, right? And so as much as they get on my nerves, I said, okay, let me do this. Let me do informed delivery. You know what informed delivery is?
Oh, you just was telling us about this.
Right. So you can sign up for informed delivery, and you can every
track
morning they send you an email with pictures of everything that should be in your mailbox. Right? And so every morning I know what should be delivered to me, right? And so if I know what should be delivered to me, so should the mail people.
Right.
And so a couple of weeks ago, I thought I saw the email, and I saw the picture. I was supposed to get something from the IRS. That's important stuff, right?
Right.
It was never in my mailbox. My neighbor, who always gets my mail, other street neighbor, not same street, couple doors down. She lives on the whole nother street, two streets over, comes over, old lady, hey, here's your mail. I thought you needed this. And I'm like, here we go. And that my fire gets lit again. So I've taken measures to minimize problems with you people, and you still being disrespectful and careless. And then it makes me want to prove a point.
Yes. So
what is that, like immature?
Yes. So what you'll do as a sound clinician is allow your client or your friend or anybody in your life to tell the story, right? And you gently say, you SOS, you're stuck on story. Because yes, and that's what we do in life. We have the story, and then we justify our behaviors. And at some point, we have to just hold ourselves accountable.
Absolutely.
And say that, yes, this was an important document. They fucked up. They don't care. All of the things stuck on the story. But I still have to take some level of dominion over me and say that I'm not going to allow this to take me here.
Well,
and I'm not just using the postal thing, to our listeners. A lot of times we get stuck on a story and then we get to use that to say, this is why I act poorly. And that becomes the theme of your life, where it's like, oh, I cursed out this coworker. Oh, I got into it with my supervisor, and I'm usually not like that, and such and such and such. But then it's like when you start to step back and you look at the patterns, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, this does happen regularly. And the one thing about the growth and development that we all are seeking is that a lot of times we feel like it's just in our personal lives. What happens is sometimes in our personal lives, because that's where we're the most connected, it shows up the most.
Right.
But who you are shows up everywhere. So it is going to seep into your career. And sometimes we're saying like, I bust my ass. I got this experience and I still feel stagnant. And sometimes it's because of this. And it's not about blame or, like pointing a finger.
Sure.
It's just about the awareness. And that's the key of just really growing. That I have to step back and say, what the fuck is happening within me? Yes, I am this age. However, emotionally, I show up like this. And it starts to get unacceptable.
So what happens, Sophia, when you are an extremely self-aware person? You're very, very, very self-aware, and you know yourself, right? And so you know yourself, so you establish and identify the parameters that you need to keep yourself safe. And people keep busting through those parameters.
Yeah.
And keep busting through those parameters. And so, if I isolate, because I know I'm in a bad, I can tell you the day that I'm smoking anybody who comes into my vicinity.
You almost, you want it.
And so I know where I am right now because I am self-aware, and I'm telling you, this isn't a good idea. I told somebody probably a month ago, it is not good for us to talk right now. It's not a good idea for us to talk right now. Don't you know, like 10 minutes later, they're at my door.
That was
good. At my door, yo. At my door. And I'm like, I started turning red. Because I'm looking at the camera, the doorbell camera. I'm looking out the doorbell camera like, yeah, I fucking told you it's not a good idea for us to talk. I'm started sweating. My hands sweating, my underarms sweating. And I'm like, and then they start texting and say, so you're not going to open the door?
Yeah.
Okay, here, we on.
Right,
ding, ding.
See, that's it, right? So that's it right there. We all do this, right? Where it's like, just 2 days ago, someone said to me, like, I was doing good at first. I love that statement. And I know you guys can relate. I was doing good at first until they said, or until they showed up at the door. No, it's not I was doing good at first. Keep it going, right? So say that. That's a perfect one. Shug, I set my boundaries, right? So I'm honoring myself. I'm doing this. I'm aware of myself. I understand you the trigger, what I'm feeling, all of that. And then they show up, but you still open the door saying, fuck it, bring it. Because you know why? Your being still was like, go. And you was fighting it. And then it was like, okay, now you here. But the choice still could have been, I'm not opening this door. You don't have the key anymore. I'm not opening the door. I'm not even responding to the text. It's still, is it difficult? Yes. But then it's like, I constantly say, like, who's more important? Me.
Yeah.
Me. True. If I can't grant it to anyone else, me, and I know you being in my space is going to take me somewhere else, No, not we justify it. Well, you at my door now, so you want it. I warned you. You didn't go for the smoke signals. So here we on. And that still gets to justifying the poor behavior.
So something that I tell people all the time though, because oftentimes you'll be talking to people, and it doesn't matter who it is you're talking to, because this is just a human thing. You'll be talking to them and you'll say, they'll try to tell you, like, well, what if you did this? Well, if I do this, then they're going to do this.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait.
Yes.
What you have to understand is that you are the only one who is responsible for your behavior.
Exactly.
And so nobody else is responsible for your behavior, and you're not responsible for anyone else's behavior. And so you can't try to set it up to manipulate what they're going to do and what
go
their
in with your
intention.
Your intention is different from a goal. The goal is like, okay, this is what I want to happen. Your intention is your desired outcome. The intention of this conversation is to be present and open to express how this person made me feel so that I can experience relief for the purpose of some understanding. And once you release that, it's out of your hands.
Right.
You can't play the he said, she said, and then, because you have no control over that. But you could kind of set the intention. What do I want of this? And that comes a part of the emotional maturity. What do I want? What's the purpose of this? We do a lot of shit for no purpose.
That's true.
I'm not going to lie. There's been several things that I said out my mouth, and it was like, what the fuck was that for? Nothing. You just talking just to be talking. I remember one time my husband said that to me, and I was like, what? Everything I'm saying is of substance. And it was like, bullshit. You just saying something just to be saying stuff. The emotional maturity starts to come in like, what is my purpose here?
Right.
I want to have a conversation with this friend. For what? For them to understand how they made me feel based off of what they've done, hoping to reconcile, hoping for it to be a shift. Cool. But sometimes it's like, I just want her to know what it is. Why?
Yeah.
That's elementary. That's elementary level, just to prove a point, just to shut them down. So as you are developing, you should be questioning yourself like, what am I doing this for? Even down to a job. Duh, money. Money to supply for my family. Yeah. Money to fucking buy a new shoe to keep up with homegirl down the block. Money to save because I want to, elevate my apartment. Like everything you do should be having a purpose. We are beyond the place of just doing shit just because. I don't even give a shit if it's going on a date with a girl. What is my purpose here? To fuck? Okay, that's a purpose.
I think that is one of a very common misconception. Not even misconception, something that's it's just overlooked.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big, it's so funny because one of my friends in particular thinks I talk a lot, and I'm like, I don't really talk that much. But when people say, oh, well, I want to talk, I always say, what's your goal?
Right.
What is your goal? Like, what do you want to get from this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just go in with no goal. Your goal could be to express yourself.
Exactly.
Your goal to be
looking for clarity,
to come to an understanding, to figure out a solution, to get some imaginary form of closure, because closure is just a whole different issue. Closure is imaginary. But anyway.
Yes, it is. You find your own closure.
Yes. And so you have to have a goal of anything that you intend to do.
Exactly. So I want to go through a couple of things because you hear us breaking them down, but let's be specific. So one of the things about emotional intelligence, or as I usually say, emotional maturity, one of the things is you think about your feelings. What I have learned, not just in work, just in regular conversation, that our society loves things like, I feel some type of way.
Oh, I hate that word. I hate that saying.
I hate it. Even when children say it to me, it's like, well, what way?
What's the type of way?
What's the type of way are you feeling? I realize that many of us have a limited vocabulary of feelings.
Yeah.
And it sounds funny. So I have this little ball that I used to use when I used to work in juvenile setting, and I would throw the ball at someone, and wherever your thumb land, you would have to tell me a time where you experience that, right? And when I bring it out with adults, they're cracking up laughing until I throw it and they like, oh shit, she for real. And they have a difficult time when they may get to humiliated. And it's like, because we use core feelings of happy, angry, sad, and you know, we don't even say angry, mad. Happy, angry, sad. You might get excited. Every now and then you might get joy in there, but we have a limited vocabulary. So it's hard when I was having this conversation with a group and I was like, homeboy, I've been around you for all these years and I've never heard you say more than 5 feelings. So it's hard for you to say that you 12th grade going into the collegiate level and you can't even identify feelings. That is one of the key things about emotional maturity. You know, I challenge people all the time. Use a feeling word throughout the day.
Yeah.
And see what that looks like, because most of the time we don't. Like, even down to people would say, oh, I'm tight. Tightness in your chest.
You know what a lot of people do. So the thing with the ball, I would gather that it's easier to give an example of feeling humiliated as opposed to when somebody is talking about a situation of humiliation,
to use it,
and asking them, so what were you feeling? It would be harder for them to say that was humiliation or embarrassment.
But sometimes because there's a disconnect, someone won't even, because I usually don't say give me a general example, tell me a time you've experienced that. And because of the disconnect, struggle with even giving an example of a time they felt. And because anger is our go-to.
Right.
It's societally acceptable. So it's like angry, and then it's like, well, anger is usually the secondary. Let's go beneath there, and it's like can't even think of an example.
Right. And so I'm thinking of a conversation I had with somebody last week, and they wanted to tell me what happened, and I was like, oh, that sounds so great. How did that feel for you?
Yeah.
And the person said, I was happy. And I was like, it sounds like you felt accepted. It sounds like you felt loved and acknowledged. Like it was more than just happiness. Yeah. But what I find that people get stuck on is when you ask them about feelings, they want to talk about what happened.
Right.
Because they can't say what the feeling was.
And here we may be really referencing whole grown adults that still will give you the story when it was like, how did you feel about that? It was crazy. And then we was doing this and we was doing that. And how did you feel about it? Oh my gosh. Like OMG has become a feeling.
Yep.
And I want you guys to just really be mindful of, do I even when you, and I'm coming from women particularly, because we can be the one sometime that want to have a conversation with a partner or somebody you dating, husband, whatever the case, and
just want to talk.
Just want to talk.
Just want to
talk. I need to express this, and you ain't said shit for 10 whole minutes. You talking about like, yeah, because let me come from my husband. My husband is on his way on a fucking trip right now. And there would be years that I would be like, yep, because this your 4th one. And we only went away 4 times too. So ours should be more and it's like, it's funny because he's not a therapist, but most Virgos feel that they are just everything, accountants, mathematicians, and therapists. And he would say, so what do you want me to do about this? What, like, ultimately saying, what the fuck are you saying? Are you just talking just to be talking? And it's like, oh, maybe you need to say, I felt left out because I didn't have anywhere to go. And my friends are too fucking responsible to just leave everything behind and just say, fuck it and go. I'm feeling a little jealous because your circle, they with it, and mine, we have to wait for somebody to get married. I feel jealous. Like, just say what it is that you are experiencing.
Yeah.
I feel, but again, society wants to tell us not to feel, not to. So many people are actually at a very low grading system because you have conformed to fuck my feelings. You know, the memes is throwing the feelings in the trash to the point where you can't even articulate yourself.
Right.
So another thing about emotional maturity is being able to pause. Every time I see anything about pause or silence, I absolutely love, because I know most people can. When something happens, there is an energetic reaction that I have to respond right now.
I'm good at not responding.
Okay, so let's do this, right? So there's polarity. It's a law of polarity with everything, right? So either end of the spectrum can be unhealthy. And I'm not coming for Dr. L. When she said it, I thought about it, that sometimes you could go completely on the other end of the pause.
Me? I can.
And I'm just saying in general. If the shoe fits or the glove fit, Cochran, like you could go to one end of the pause and the silence could go too far, and then the other person who just, it's almost like a reflex.
Yeah.
But that is the emotional maturity of being able to discern. Okay, let me let this sit. Let me muster up what's happening here. What you feeling here. And maybe I don't need to respond. And marriages, I'm gonna say this particularly because I'm scripturally a little slow sometimes, but there's scripture, and many of us who have done, premarital classes, this scripture comes up all the time, and it's pretty much saying, do not let the sun go down.
Don't let the sun set on your problems.
So
something like that.
Yeah, about anger. It's really about like wrath. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath or your anger, something along those lines. So couples, married people typically will be like, no, we have to address this before we go to sleep because we cannot go to sleep angry. And it's like, no, sometimes. Because what's happening is you forcing this partner to have a conversation that they are not ready for, and then they say some shit to hurt your feelings. Now the next day, you guys have taken this into work, taken this in your whole day. Now you're waiting for somebody to apologize, and ultimately they want to say, "I didn't want to talk about this."
Well, yes, and that's what I say people all the time though. Sometimes in the height of your emotions, you don't know what the emotions are, right? So oftentimes if you go from 0 to 20 and all you know is that you feel 20, you haven't identified if it's embarrassment, if it's neglect, if it's you haven't identified exactly what the feelings or what those emotions are that are bubbling inside of you.
Right.
So it's not a good idea sometimes to start trying to process with somebody when you got a whole cauldron bubbling.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so in taking space, I think it's important, depending on the relationship, right? Yeah. In taking space, you have to put a time limit on the space.
Yes, absolutely. That's the additional maturity piece. Tell me what that could look like.
So for a couple, what that might look like is, well, okay, I'm really upset right now, but we agree in this marriage that we won't go more than 48 hours without addressing our problems.
Yep.
We will agree that when we have a problem or a disagreement, when we come back after that time, when both of us are ready, because both people have to be ready.
Absolutely.
It's not just when I'm ready or just when you're ready. When we come back, we both have to identify what happened here and what each one of us was feeling.
Exactly. So it's okay to pause. Sometimes that is the emotional maturity of settling yourself. You think about it, right? When you talk about grading systems, you think about the grading level when kids are just so impulsive. And here you are at 43, like, we got to talk about this right now, as soon as he walk in the house. But yet you saying you freshman year in college. Maybe not.
Yeah.
You are too impulsive and you don't have the control over your emotion. So another thing about emotional maturity is controlling your thoughts. So here's just some basic knowledge that sometimes people just feel like emotions just come out of nowhere. No. The emotion is evoked by the thought.
You don't think people wake up on the wrong side of the bed?
So yes, I do feel like our spirits do something, and we just feel and didn't sleep good, so may wake up, but it may not be a feeling, it's just a being. It's like Okay.
It's a disposition.
Yeah, like my mannerisms, my being just feels a little off today. The energy feels a little off, but even with that, I do have control to shift that, right? So you have a thought and then it leads to a feeling. What happens is the feeling comes up so profoundly that it's hard to connect it to the thought. So usually I'm saying to someone, you know, what came to mind? You know, as you talk about, I was so angry. What was coming to mind? I don't know. I just felt the anger. And, you know, that's the piece of, okay, I feel something that's uncomfortable. The emotional mature person will start to say, okay, how can I shift this thought?
Right.
So, for example, I'll use me. Disrespect is huge to me, and I've used it so incorrectly for so many years. Someone could say something that I didn't like, where I felt like it may have been inconsiderate. But my perception would be, oh, they disrespected me, right? So the disrespect may lead to, you know, a feeling of anger, or shame, or, you know, something there. But shifting the thought can be, okay, we have different perspectives about this. They're not my enemy, you know, just as concrete as that. Like, this is not my enemy. They are not trying to harm me. And you'll be so surprised that when you reconstruct or reframe your thought, that it will evoke another emotion, or at least help the emotion that's prevalent subside.
So to add, I guess, taking that pause so you can get into that place of you know, really figuring that out.
Yeah, because
or controlling. If you don't take a pause, you are more likely to be impulsive, and you won't be able to control whatever it is that's happening for you.
Exactly. It's difficult because what happens is when we feel the emotion, this is the child, this is the inner child, this is childlike behavior, that when we feel the emotion, we are just off just to the races. And it's like, whoa, the adult can slow this down to start identifying what's happening. What the part of the personal development that I love is trying to be proactive. Like, I'm tired of having to say, I apologize for that. I'm sorry for that. That gets old for someone to say, like, no, you're not going to keep talking rude or disrespectful and then come back and say, I'm sorry. And that's, sometimes people will feel like, well, I was emotionally mature enough to apologize. Okay, that's good. Okay, I won't take that away from you.
You apologize just because you ain't want to feel the tension anymore.
Exactly. You felt the
You
guilt.
didn't apologize because of anything else.
Yes. And not only that, let's get to the point where we could, you know, decrease the behavior so you don't have to fucking apologize this many times. Another big one about emotional maturity is being able to take criticism. When I said that, people in the circle was dropping a grade. Boom, boom, boom. Like, nope, I'm going back. Because no one likes criticism. Like, yes, tell me everything that's wrong with me. But again, like I started out saying, that our perception of ourselves is skewed. So sometimes it takes someone to give some feedback to help you see it from a different way. Where it's like, so I know being in your seat, you didn't feel it, but from this side, that was mean. That was a bit mean. Like, no, but you didn't hear what she said. I did, but
is that criticism though? So,
I mean, you know, a lot of
feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Feedback makes it feel better. You know, just sometimes the connotation to words.
I just think if feedback I can take from anybody. Criticism I'm not taking from anybody. You you have to be worthy for me to take criticism from you.
Worthy? What deems the person to be worthy?
It depends on what you saying to me, right? And so I am not taking criticism from my mother about my inability to control my anger. Nah, sis, bye. You have no standing ground here.
Oh no. So okay. It's kind of like when people say, because I know you don't agree with that you have to say married. that only a married person could give feedback. So somebody who has not completely controlled their anger can't provide feedback.
Okay, so I'm not a married person, right?
But do you give feedback?
Wait a minute. I don't never say. Let me tell you what I don't say.
I know I'm not married, but
Nope.
you do say that too.
I do say that. I do say that. And so sometimes I say that because I feel like I don't have a right to say something to a married person.
Wow.
Because I don't know what it feels like to be in a marriage. Mm-hmm. So I have no right to tell you about yours. But I could say, I would say, I mean, what I was about to say that I can't say is a wife shouldn't do that. I can't tell you what a wife should do or not. What I can say is, well, do you think your husband feels neglected?
Right, got you.
That's not me giving criticism. That's me giving feedback. That's me giving you something to possibly consider.
Got you. And that's the thing. See, I feel like we could offer and consider anything, regardless, kind of like what I said about substance and addiction, that just because I haven't walked that walk, there is that universality of the emotions. So
you can identify the emotions, but what you can't do as a person who has never fought an addiction, you can't say, just quit, yo.
Oh, right. Exactly. Exactly.
You can't say that, but you can say,
I can offer feedback.
What, how do you usually feel before you get high? What are you feeling? Right. Are you anxious? Like, what's happening for you? Do you feel embarrassed because you're fighting this addiction? I would get that you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because we didn't have that struggle, we can't say, girl, just quit. What's wrong with you?
Definitely. No, I definitely get that. If you have experienced it or not. I'm married and I still wouldn't say to somebody like, leave him.
Yeah.
You know, so either way, in it or not, I still feel like you still always allow the people to make their own decisions. But I feel like sometimes that does limit interactions with people, because it's like, well, this person isn't a mother, or this person isn't married, or this person didn't go to college, or this person doesn't have my line of work, and you kind of limit the experience or the feedback you can get from people. Yes, is it good to have someone that can relate directly? And then is it good to have,
and just because they can relate doesn't necessarily, the experience still may not have been the same.
So I don't agree with all married people should just have married friends, because there's some married people that I'm never fucking following anything that you do.
Just because you married.
Just because you married and you got mad years. Okay, that's just so doesn't work for me.
Can I tell you something?
And I might get it for my husband's best friend. He is. We gonna have Mike Regular on here one time, and he is something. But I'm not gonna lie, he is very diverse with what he knows. So some of the conversation I have had, the most profound conversations with him, even in a situation he has never been in. So I feel like you should be open to differences.
So I had this random thought like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, if I ever get married, and we'll talk about Suge's thoughts about not getting married, and I hope maybe season 3. I would never join a couples club, a wives club.
Really?
I want no parts of it.
I was a part of one, but it was very short lived. But I did enjoy the energy. It was like any other group. It normalized some of the experiences. But I had such a well-rounded of some married, not married, that I didn't mind getting that perspective from this group of married women. But
yeah,
we'll talk more.
But what I was saying was, I think it's important for us to understand that in giving criticism, feedback, or whatever it is that you want to call it, tailoring it to minimize judgment,
right,
in it, and opinions,
right. I can't even remember the post, but I saw a good post yesterday about opinions versus your experience. Like, never.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, exactly. But authenticity. This is another one about emotional maturity. This one gets a little tricky for many people, because authenticity makes them feel like the person who is, I keep it 100. I just say what comes to my mind. That's not authenticity. Yes, are you able to express how something or someone made you feel, and due to whatever the interaction was, but you just saying things out your mouth that about authenticity does not mean everything that comes to your mind you have to say out loud. The authenticity is the piece of, I get to share who I am, but then I'm learning a level of discernment, and I'm learning a level of wisdom.
Tact.
Yes, where it's like, this isn't the way you said this, how you said this, and who you said this to and in front of. That's not authenticity. And people will say, oh, I'm emotionally mature because I just
can say whatever I want to say.
I say whatever. I keep it 100, a buck, whatever it is. That's not authenticity. And I really want people to really, really take that in. And empathy. I was surprised how many people
don't know what empathy is.
Not even don't know, but can admit, I don't know how to show that. Because it's very difficult for me to put myself in someone else's shoes to try to understand or, understand what they are experiencing or what they may be feeling. It's like, well, you shouldn't have done this. Or, one of the examples I usually give people, can you have empathy with someone homeless? And it's like, there's always this idea of they messed up, like, well, you was doing drugs, so that's why you lost your job and your family and your house. So I can't empathize with that. And it's like,
you don't know how that person ended up
exactly
homeless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that I would think that some people are not able to identify their acts of empathy because they don't really understand the difference between that and sympathy.
Correct.
And sympathy, how would we call that? It's like feeling sorry for somebody.
Exactly.
I feel sorry for you.
That's exactly how it is. Like just this sorrow, and usually when I use something about death, that kind of helps people. Like the cards usually say this is a sympathy card. I feel sorry for your loss, or I feel sad for you. Right.
So an example, and I'm gonna use kids, I guess, for the example. So maybe I'm a teacher, right? I'm a teacher, and I have a whole lot of kids in my class, and some kids are just a little less fortunate than others, and because some of the kids are less fortunate, or they get isolated. So sympathy would be me as the teacher going to buy that kid some clothes that were clean and not high waters.
Yes.
And that would be sympathy.
Yes.
Empathy would be, come on, Johnny. Come on, kids. Make sure Johnny gets a turn too. Mm-hmm. That would be empathy, is to see that you have been isolated, but I want you to be included, or I want you to be able to feel like you're included. So I'm going to do something to help bridge that gap or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think the other way is empathy is more long-standing. Like acts of empathy, and it's empathic. I have this argument with people say empathetic. It's not empathetic, it's empathic. But that's our lesson 101 for today. Empathy is a little bit more long-standing than sympathy. How many times do you hear people say, oh, you experienced a loss, you got all these people in your house, you got people dropping off cakes,
oh my gosh,
casseroles, all of this stuff, you need anything, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the funeral's over, everybody disappears. Everybody was acting out of sympathy.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, very good. That was really good. So another one that, apologizing. Emotional maturity. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Emotional people feel like they are emotionally mature because they may have been able to do the other things of identifying what they felt and able to receive some feedback, identify a level of empathy and working on this level of authenticity, but struggle with apologizing. And you know why people struggle with apologizing? Because they're stuck on the fucking story. That's why. No, because she said that she was going on a trip, and at the last minute, she said she wasn't going. Then I was stuck to be there by myself, and so I cursed her out. I don't fuck with her no more. I blocked her on everything, and I told her business. And it's like, oh, wow, did you apologize? Apologize for what? She was the one who, she did not going on a trip because her man said she can't go no more. Yep, I heard all of that. Did you apologize for your part?
Right.
No, for what? Because she, or, it always shows up.
She did that to me, so I'm doing that back to her.
What fucking age is that?
I do think that it takes a certain level of maturity to be, when something does happen, to be able to say what you did to contribute to whatever the circumstance was. Like, you had a part in this, regardless. I don't care. And you
gonna say it again? Because they was coming for us when I did the cheating one.
Yes.
When I said, you played a part, and it was like, I can't. You play a part, and man, listen, y'all wish I had
even
time.
If somebody did you wrong, right? Somebody did you wrong, and then you went and you leaked their nude on social media, right? Number one, that's not taking away the wrong that they did you.
Exactly. Now you added to it. Now you
wrong.
2 fucking pigs in the mud. Like, okay.
2 pigs in the mud. I like that.
Like, come on. You are the cause of everything. You attract everything that you are going through in life. Everything. I'm sorry. I just have to be the barrier because that's what's going to help you truly develop. That is a part of healing. That my energy, we have contracts. We already, this is all written, and it doesn't always look good. But I have to be aware that my cause played a part of the effect. My beliefs, my perception, my experiences brought this on. I'm saying like, oh, all men are dogs, they all cheat, and now you're in a relationship where it happened. You brought that energy to you.
Absolutely.
Or it's like, oh, how do I attract these type of friends? You fucking attract these type of friends.
Right.
And it's not, again, about blaming, and it's just about awareness. So if you are aware of it, then it's like, okay, now I have to be responsible to shift some shit because I just don't like it. I don't like it. So you have to hold yourself accountable. Right. Yes, you played yourself by backing out the last minute of this trip, knowing that I wasn't going to have anybody to go with. However, I am sorry that I called you those names. I told your boyfriend where the fuck you was that night, that I was your alibi. Exactly. I am sorry for my behavior. My sorry or apology for my behavior does not do anything to yours.
Yep.
I'm not even responsible if you say I'm sorry too. That person may not even.
They may not.
However, I have to be with me all the time.
That's right.
I can't disconnect from me. So I don't want to take that shit with me. I don't want to take it into a new friendship. I don't want to take it to a new job. Let's clear this right now.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Sorry. You won't fucking say that I did this to you.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let that shit go. You won't be able to even create the energy of talking about me with what you will say is she played herself, but I ain't gonna lie. She said sorry. She held herself accountable for. That's the biggest part that we struggle with because we get stuck on the story.
Okay.
All right. So what are some takeaways you got when it's like, all right, I challenge you. What grade are you in? Before we go to takeaways, hearing everything, are you still in 11th or 12th grade?
I think I'm actually like a sophomore in college.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Recap. So first, Dr. L said that she only asked poorly 1 to 2 times. Then her co-host said maybe about 5 to 7. Let's give it a solid 10. And
you don't round me up to a 10.
And then we talked about, the criticism. She said, I'm only taking criticism if you worthy. And she done skipped herself 2 whole times.
All right, fine. I'm staying in 11th grade.
Okay. All right. I eat that.
I'll stay in 11th grade.
What are some things that you can do you feel like, to graduate, to go to college?
The control piece. So depending on, and I'll be honest, so depending on the space that I'm in, so we can use the post office again, so because there's a new issue, but it wasn't. So
if you guys, this is why we asked y'all, do y'all want to see us live? Because if you see what these cheeks is doing when she says postal service, but go.
So I sent my niece a birthday gift, in New York, and they asked you at the post office, do you want to add extra insurance? And I said no. I said no because my sister has this thing with her postal